Hello everyone, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Marion, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to crochet this top. I discovered this Millstone stitch a while ago and I had to come up with something wearable, hence this top. Stick around, for I will be showing you how to construct the top, how to go about sizing, and we will learn how to do it from beginning to end. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't, consider to subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment down below telling me what you like the most about the top. Welcome. These are the materials that we are going to need during this tutorial. I have my pair of scissors that I will use to cut my yarn. I have my darning needle that I will use to weave in all the ends. You need at least 4 stitch markers to help you mark your stitches here and there as you go on with the project. For my hook, I'm going to be using a 3.0 millimeter crochet hook, and the most important tool, this is your measuring tape. I encourage you to have one as you work the project. For the yarn, I am using Winter King, and this particular yarn is 100% acrylic, and I have it in 2 colors, that is brown and tan. So the yarn is medium weight. It's 100% acrylic and each ball weighs 50 grams. I am going to include the yardage on the screen so that you can see how much of it I used. But what's most important is that it is a medium weight yarn. So if you have any DK weight, I recommend that you use that. So without wasting so much time, let's get right into the video. To begin, you are going to grab your yarn and make a slip knot, and this is how I usually make my slip knot. Once you have your slip knot on, you are going to chain 10 plus 1. The 1 is just a turning chain. So to chain, you're going to yarn over and pull through the knot that you made. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. That is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we said plus 1. So this one that we added is going to act as our turning chain, because our next stitch is going to be worked in this second chain from the hook. So the next row we are going to work slip stitches, and to do a slip stitch we will insert our hook in the second chain from the hook, yarn over, pull through. We pull through the chain and then also pull through the loop on the hook like that. So insert your hook in the next chain, yarn over, pull through the chain and also pull through the loop on the hook like that. So that is 2. Yarn over, pull through like that and pull through them all. And you're going to do this until you get to the end of the row. And by the end of this row, you should have 10 stitches. So what we're working here is a slip stitch. And we are going to be working slip stitches in the back loop for this row, because this is going to be a ribbed row, and these are 10 stitches. Okay, so that is the first row and it is complete. After you're done, you're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to be working in the back loop of each and every stitch. So if you look at your work like this, you will notice that there are these V's. Okay, we will enter into the back loop. Now we just chained 1. You're going to go to the first stitch, which is this one, in the back loop, do a slip stitch and go to the next stitch and do a slip stitch like that, go to the next. So we are working these slip stitches in the back loop, and make sure to not tighten your stitches, because it will be hard to insert your hook in the next stitch if you tighten your stitches, okay? This stitch might take a little bit of time, so I encourage you to be very patient with this row, but I promise it gives the best results. So as you're working this row, be counting your stitches, because in most instances you might find that you are leaving out stitches, and we want our work to be as even as possible. So you have to have 10 stitches. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10. Once you get there, you will chain 1 and turn your work, and then go into the very first stitch in the back loop and work a slip stitch. So we are working slip stitches in the back loop only. We count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 and 10, and then you chain, always chain 1, turn your work, and you don't need to be counting after each and every row. You can count them silently as you go. So this is 1, and then you work the second, you work the third, you work the fourth, you work the fifth, you work the sixth, the seventh, eighth, ninth, and work the very last in that very last stitch. Make sure you have 10 stitches every time. So this is what we're going to be working with, and you're going to make a long strip like this until you attain your bust measurement minus 14. This 14 is basically the space that will be at the back, because if you have noticed, you've already noticed that our work has that crisscross at the back, and it gives our work a beautiful finish. So work this part. For me, my bust measurement is 34, so minus 14, that gives me 20. I'm going to work this strip until I have 20 inches. Now I have been working and I have my strip ready. This is the ribbing part, and I have a total of 20 inches. As you can see over here, it's measuring 20 inches without stretching actually. And if I count these rows, they are exactly, so I'll be counting like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, like that. They are 82 in number, and this is deliberate actually, because the stitch that we want to be working with, the milestone stitch, requires that we have a multiple of 10 plus 2. So as you're working your strip, as you're working this part, the ribbing part, ensure that you have 82, not just 82, but a multiple of 10 plus 2. And now we are going to be working single crochets to clean off this part, okay? And this is how we will do it. You will chain 1, and then you're going to chain 1, and then we'll be placing 1 single crochet. So I'm going to place 1 single crochet over here. In each row we put 1, so 1, and then go to the next and put 1. You see, in these gaps you can see like each row is forming some gaps in here where we were working in the back loop. That is where we are placing 1 single crochet, just to clean off this part and to give us a nice clean edge to start building our rows. So we're going to be placing one single crochet And if you had your number right, just make sure you have 10 plus 1, 10 plus 2, a multiple of 10 plus 2, for you not to worry about, calculations and all. So I'm going to work these single crochets until I get to the end of this row. Like that. So this is how you're going to work it, and as you can see, it's giving us a very clean finish, a very clean edge, and this is going to be a base for the, where we're going to build all the other rows. So after you complete, you should have something like this. This row of single crochet was just making our foundation row, and now we are ready to start our first row. And we are going to change colors, and this is how I do it. I just make a slip knot and I insert my yarn right into the loop on my work, and then I tighten them both. Okay, we're not going to cut this yarn because we will be carrying it forward to the next rounds, so you will just leave it right there, and then you chain one and turn your work like that. This chain one does not count as a stitch, and so does this first stitch. So we're going to work a single crochet right there and leave it at that, and then continue now with the row. We are going to work our first single crochet and then work one half double crochet. So to work a double crochet, you will yarn over, insert your hook, and then yarn over, pull through. You have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through them all. And then in the next 5 stitches, we are going to work 5 double crochets. So you yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is the first double crochet. We are going to work 4 more double crochets in the next 4 stitches. So second double crochet, third double crochet, fourth double crochet. Okay, and then we will work the very last double crochet. So those are 5 double crochets, and now we work a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then a single crochet. So you can see we started with a single crochet. The first one does not count. A single crochet, half double crochet, 5 double crochets, a half double crochet, and then a single crochet. These are 9 stitches, and then you're going to chain one, skip one stitch, and then go into the next with a single crochet. You see, we are going to do just the same way. So we have a single crochet, we do a half double crochet, and then we do 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then we do a half double crochet. Once you have your half double crochet, you work a single crochet. You can see how the waves have started to form. Okay, and then once you have that, you're going to chain and then skip one stitch and go into the next with a single crochet. So you will always start with a single crochet and end with a single crochet, and then we are going, after the single crochet, we work a half double crochet, yarn over, and you work a half double crochet, and then we're going to yarn over and work 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And once you have the 5, you are going to do a half double crochet and then a single crochet to mark the end, chain one, skip one, go into the next with a single crochet. So, and do the same. So you will always end up with 9 stitches, and then the 10th is the chain one as you skip one and continue. Let us count together and see. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then the 10th is the chain, and you skip a stitch right here and go to the next, like that. So you're going to work this until you get to the end of the row, and we shall meet there. So I'm coming towards the end of the row, and I just want us to notice the height difference of these stitches and how it's forming these waves. This is just because we are starting with the shorter stitches going to the longer, that is the single crochets, half double crochets going towards the longer stitches, and then also descending where we are having half double crochet and then the single crochet and then the chain. So that is why we are having these waves, and it's just because of the height difference of the stitches. So now we are working towards the completion of the row. I have already started the next wave. See here, we have the chain one, skip one, and then I have my single crochet, and in the next stitch I am going to put a half double crochet, and then we work the 5 double crochets. So 1 2 3 4 and 5. You will notice that we are left with 3 stitches. In this one we are going to put our half double crochet, and then we work a single crochet, and the very last stitch we are going to place a single crochet. Remember, when we started our row, we started with this single crochet. Before we started, we went ahead to do the single crochet, half double crochet, and the 5 double crochets, and also we are also going to be completing our rows with this single crochet, which is very important. And now to begin the next row, we are going to chain one, and then in that first single crochet we will place a single crochet, and then in the next single crochet we are going to place a single crochet. Where there is a half double crochet we will place a half double crochet, and where there is the 5 double crochets we are going to work a double crochet on top of each and every. So like that. I believe this is the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. Once you have those, you are going to place a half double crochet in the half double crochet, and then a single crochet on top of the single crochet, like that. And then where there's a chain, you're going to chain, skip, and then go cross and go to the next side where we have our first single crochet, and then do a half double crochet. Okay, and then the 5 double crochets are going to get a double crochet on top of each and every one of them, and then this is the last double crochet, and then we do in the half double crochet we're going to work a half double crochet and then a single crochet, chain one, and then cross, go to the next. We are starting with a single crochet just as we did the previous row, and then the half double crochet, and then we do 5 double crochets. So 1 2 3 4 and 5, and then where there's a half double crochet we are going to place a half double crochet, and then the single crochet gets a single crochet, chain one, and continue working. See, we are still forming those waves, and then I will meet you at the end of the row. I'm coming towards the end of the row. I just worked the 5 double crochets. The next stitch is a half double crochet, and then we will work a single crochet here, and the very last stitch gets a single crochet. So that is the end of row 2, and we're going to work the next row using the other color, the previous color. So as I had instructed earlier, instead of cutting this yarn, we are just going to carry it forward like that. So we just yarn over, and then, you know, the next row is going to be a row of single crochets. So we will chain 1 and then turn, okay? And also don't cut this yarn, just leave it hanging. We will also carry it forward after we are done with this the following 2 rows. So now we are going to do our first single crochet, which does not count as a stitch, and then we do our first single crochet right there, and then continue doing 9 single crochets until we get to this stitch, the chain 1. That is where we're going to do something different. So there's the single crochets, just do a single crochet on top of each and every stitch, a single crochet on top of each and every stitch like that until you get to this part. And once you're here, we are going to work something different where, so in the next stitch we are going to do a long double crochet, or otherwise known as a spike stitch, where we're going to yarn over, and we are not going to go in the previous row like always. We will go 2 rows down, and in this single crochet from our foundation row, that is where we're going to insert our hook and then yarn over and pull through. Make sure the tension is right, for we don't want this stitch to be so tight that our work will curve like that. We want it to be a little bit straight and up to the right tension. So you will yarn over and then pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2, and that is how we will work our spike stitch. And then we continue working our single crochets. In the next stitch, place a single crochet. So we're going to count 9 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And once you have your 9 single crochets, you will notice the next stitch we need to do, which is the 10th stitch, is a spike stitch. Again, you will yarn over and then insert your hook in, not in the previous row, but 2 rows down where we have our foundation row. You will insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, regulate your tension, and then work a double crochet. And then we're going to go into the next stitch with a single crochet, then a single crochet and a single crochet. We will work 9 of them until we have the next part where we will be working another spike stitch. 9 like that. And then now we are going to work a spike stitch. You will yarn over, insert your hook 2 rows down like that, regulate your tension, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that is how we are going to work the rest of the row. Just ensure you have 9 stitches, 9 single crochets, and then you do a spike stitch, 9 stitches, and then you do a spike stitch. Alright, so I've worked that row and I am coming to completion where I will insert my very last single crochet, and at this part we have 10 stitches instead of 9. Remember that one stitch that we said, it has to be there. So this is what you should be having at the end of this row. See, our work has actually started to take form, and the milestone stitch is actually forming. I pretty much love this stitch. It is very beautiful, and the spikes are just adding to the beauty. So this is how the back side looks. If you like to call this the back side, this is how it looks, and the side that we're working on looks like this. Now I am going to work the next row, and to do this we are going to chain 1 and turn our work. And so we will make sure each and every stitch gets a single crochet. So you will just yarn over, you will insert your hook, yarn over, pull through all through until you have, remember we started with 82 stitches, so make sure you have the exact number. as soon as you're done with this part. It's like forming another foundation row in preparation for our next part. How do we call this? Pockets. So we are going to form another pocket, but this time round our spikes are going to be at the middle of the previous pocket. So the spikes will be at this point, and to form that we need this row to have the original number of stitches, and then we will prepare for it. So I'm going to do the stitches. They have the single stitches, the single crochets, until I get to the end of the row. Okay, you can see it's sort of forming a straight line at this point instead of having those curves that we had previously. So this is what we have, and remember we said we are not cutting our yarn. We will just yarn over the previous color and bring it up like that, and then we tighten at this point, and we are ready to do the next row. So at this point we have our spikes coming at these positions, and we now want the spikes to be in the middle of each and every right here. The spike will be right here, another one here, another one here. And to do that, we are now going to start with this row with double crochets. And to do double crochets, we will chain 2. So I'm going to chain 2, 1, 2, and then I turn my work. Okay, and once I have turned my work, and remember we have changed color, this first stitch, this chain 2 actually counts as a stitch. So we are not going to do a stitch. We are not going to do a stitch right here in this very first stitch from the previous row, but instead we will go in the second stitch and do a double crochet. Okay, and then go to the next stitch and work a double crochet. We will only work 3 double crochets to begin our row, and then the next stitch is going to be a half double crochet. So you yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. You have 3, and then pull through them all like that, and then we will do a single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, and this is the position where our spike stitch will be. So you skip this one and go into the next with a single crochet like that, and then you yarn over, do a half double crochet, and then yarn over, do 5 double crochets. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so once you have those 5 double crochets, we are ready to do a half double crochet, and then we do a single crochet, and then chain 1, skip 1, go into the next with a single crochet, and then work a half double crochet, and then work 5 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And once you have your 5 double crochets, we are going to go ahead and work a half double crochet, and then a single crochet, and then chain 1, skip 1, go into the next like that. So you can see our spikes are going to be where the chain 1s are, and then we have already started to form the waves for the next pocket. Okay, nice. This is exciting. So let me continue working off camera, and I will meet you as we complete the row. So I've done a wave and I'm coming towards the end of the row. So after the single crochet, we always chain 1, skip 1, and then start the next with a single crochet in ascending, and then we do half double crochet. After the half double crochet, we are going to do the remaining 3 double crochets. Remember, we started the row with 3 double crochets, and we have to end it with 3 double crochets like that. So this is how the beginning of the row is 1 2 3 double crochets, half double crochet, a single crochet, and then chain one, skip one, and go to the next wave. And also towards the end of the row, we also complete the row just as we started. After the chain one, we do a single crochet, half double crochet, and then the 3 double crochets. Similarly, we are going to do the same thing on the next row. So we're going to chain 2 to begin the row. So 1 2, turn your work, and then this chain 2 counts as a stitch. You're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch with a double crochet, and then a double crochet. Those are 3. And then the next stitch is a half double crochet. You will yarn over and do a half double crochet right there. And then the next stitch is a single crochet, and then you will chain one, skip the chain one space, go into the single crochet with a single crochet, do a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then the next are 5 double crochets. So we're placing a double crochet on top of each and every double crochet. Okay, and then once you're done with the double crochets, you will yarn over and do a half double crochet and then a single crochet, and then chain one, skip the chain one stitch, go into the next single crochet, half double crochet, and then continue with the 5 double crochets. So this is what we are building. Our spike will be right here. We are kind of offsetting. Since we had the spikes here, we are going to have the spikes on this peak right here. It's a peak and then it's a valley. So we are going to have this as our spike stitch, and then our next spike will be here. The next will be right here as we continue. Okay. So once you have that, you will work your 5 double crochets. 1 2 3 4 and 5, and then we will work our half double crochet and then do single crochet, chain one, and continue working. So I'm going to work this row off camera, and then I will come back as we do the row with the spikes. Okay. Coming towards the end of the row, I have already chained one, skip this chain one stitch, go into the next with a single crochet, and then we will do our half double crochet, and then 1 2 3 stitches, they all get a double crochet, and the very last stitch will also have a double crochet. Okay, so this is what we have. Exciting. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly, I am going to give you a second to subscribe, and then we can continue working the next row. All right, now we can continue. Thank you so much for subscribing. We are going to bring this other color up, the brown, so you will just yarn over and pull through like that, and then remember to tighten it up. So we're going to chain one, okay, and then turn our work. And now in this first stitch, remember we're going to be doing the single crochet rows, okay? So in this very first stitch, we are going to place a single crochet, and then in the next a single crochet. Ooh, my stitches are quite tight. Okay, let's just take it from the top. So we'll place a single crochet right here and another single crochet, and we're going to do these double single crochets until we are at the chain one. So another single crochet, another single crochet on top of that single crochet, and then you yarn over, and now we are going to go down the stitch, until we get to this foundation row and do our spike stitch. Okay, so 3 rows down, we insert our hook, yarn over, and then pull that pull it through like that. Regulate the tension, regulate the tension, and then yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through again, so that gets a double crochet instead of a single crochet. Okay, and then we're going to continue working 9 single crochets, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then in the next stitch, which is the 10th and the chain 1 space, we are going to work a spike stitch. So you will yarn over, insert your hook on this 3rd row, and then yarn over, pull through, regulate your tension, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then continue working the single crochets. So you need 9 of them here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then you will yarn over, do a spike stitch, regulate your tension, do the double crochet like that. So remember, we started with how many single crochets? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 single crochets to begin, do a spike, and then now continue doing 9 single crochets, a spike, 9 single crochets, like that. You can see we have already offset, and now the pockets are in different alignments, where at this point we started like with a half a pocket, and this is starting as a full. Okay, so full, half, the next one will be a full and then a half. So this is how we're going to do the entire row, and I will meet you at the end. So once we're done with the spike row, we are going to chain 1, of which I have, and then turn our work like that, and then we are going to do single crochets in each and every stitch from the previous row. So at this point, by the end of the row, you should have the exact number of stitches you started with. Like for me, I should be having 82 stitches by the end of this row. Okay, now this is where we are at the moment. Just remember, this pocket is a full pocket when we are starting, and this one is a half. So you will be alternating between the two. You just the way you started this right here, this first row, is the way we are going to start this row over here, and the way we started 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th row is the way you will start the next pocket. Okay, so we are alternating between these two pockets until you have your desired length for this top. If you get lost, just rewind the video and come watch how we started this row, and that is how you're going to start over here. And I want to thank you for being here and for watching this video. I will definitely see you once I'm done with the length that I require for my top, and then we will measure together and see how many rows of pockets we did, and then we can continue with the other parts together. I've worked 7 pockets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, from the bottom right here all the way to the top, and at this point we are at 8.5 inches. I want to leave my work at this point. I won't add more inches because I know this is okay for me, okay coverage. If you want to do more rows, you can go ahead and add more rows, more pockets to cover to a point that it covers your yourself well and you're comfortable in it. So when we get to this point, we now want to clear the ends, these sides, okay, and give it a good finish, and then we'll do a few rows of double crochets on this side and also on this other side. And this is how to go about it, okay? So you are going to chain one right here and then turn your work, and now we're going to be working on this side. So you will insert just one single crochet in each and every row. So this row of single crochets is getting a single crochet. The next row of this next row is gonna get a single crochet, and we'll be putting just one single crochet in each and every row. So we grab this post plus all the yarns, you see the ones we were carrying forward, we grab all of them and work a single crochet. Go to the next row and work a single crochet as we are concealing all the hanging threads in there. Remember, we had this one from the previous lighter shade, okay? I'm also concealing it in there. So we're gonna do this part as we count our stitches. It's important because we have to mirror what we do on this side should also be done on the other side, and it should be the same. So we are placing just a single crochet. Even the rows that we're starting with the chain twos, you remember those long ones that we had to start with double crochets, we will also give it just one single crochet as we go. So count your work and I will meet you at the bottom of this part, okay? Okay, at this point I have a total of 28 of them, and I need to show you how we will do this particular part where we had the slip stitch and back loop. You're going to get into that part with those single crochets still, and at this point I had 28, 29, 30, so 31, 32. I will still conceal this part. 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, and the very last one, 38. So I have 38 stitches. It's important that you count so that you will give the other side the exact number of stitches. So when we get to this point, we are going to chain two and then turn our work. Don't worry about this one, I will weave them in later. Once you turn your work, you're going to yarn over, skip this first stitch because the chain two counts as a stitch. We go into the next one and do a double crochet. We go into the next and work a double crochet as well, into the next and work another double crochet, and we are going to work these double crochets until we get to the very first stitch that we made when we were starting at this point, okay? So let's do double crochets. So as you can see, I'm left with just two stitches. I will place a double crochet and then the very last double crochet in the very first stitch that we did over here, and then we are going to chain two and turn our work, and we'll continue working the double crochets on this next row as well. So in the next stitch you're going to do a double crochet and you will work double crochets until you get to the end of the row, and then we are going to make 5 double crochets on this part. So we shall meet once you are done with your 5 rows of double crochets. So now I've been working and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows on this part, and the next thing we're going to do is we are going to make a row of single crochets back on this top part until we get to the other end. So the single crochet row is not very necessary, but I just want to include it because I don't want to cut my yarn over here, and also it adds a good layer on top right here. So I'm gonna just insert my hook back in, and then chain 1, and I'm going to do 2 single crochets in each and every stitch from these 5 rows of double crochets. So we're just placing 2 single crochets, 1, 2, the next one, 1, 2, the next one, 1, 2, and then once we get to this part, we are going to be working 1 single crochet on top of every single crochet from the previous row, okay? And then I will work this row until I get to the end. So I have completed that row of single crochets, and now I am ready to do this on this side. So I will just chain 1 and turn my work and still insert 1 single crochet in each and every row, just as we did from the previous side. You're placing 1 stitch in each and every row. This side is easier because there are no yarns, there are no hanging yarns to conceal. It's just clear, and I kind of like it that way. So continue working as you count your stitches, and we are going to do exactly what we did on that other side, on this side. Now this is where we are. I have deliberately not cut this yarn because I need to use it for the next step. But we have 5 double crochet rows and also 5 double crochet rows on this side. I have put some pretend straps because I needed them to hold my work up, because I needed to do this part. I needed to measure where my straps are going to be. So from here all the way to where I have put my strap, this is 4 inches, and from the center to where I have put this other stitch marker is 4 inches. You can regulate this part according to the measurements, your measurements, where you want your straps to originate, okay? So put your top on, and then you can measure the distance. For reference, you can see where you usually your bra strap originates, and that is where we have put this stitch marker, and it corresponds with the stitch markers that I put at the back. This one's over here. So the straps will originate from the front, where we have marked with the stitch marker, all the way to the back, and we need to also measure this distance from here upwards towards the stitch marker here at the front, right here. So I need to grab my tape measure and measure this distance. So after measuring the distance, I have realized that my strap is going to be 12 inches. So we will put those 12 inches on both sides as shown in the following steps. Okay, ideally, this is where we are. Okay, so this is where we had our pretend straps, and now I am going to work a strap at this point and another strap at this point. Okay, what we do next is we're going to chain 1, remove the stitch marker actually. So I want to have 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then the very last one will be placed in between these 2 rows right there. Then we chain 1, we go back in each and every single crochet to ensure that we have 5 of them. And then we will chain 1, turn our work, and go back on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then chain 1, go back and work 5 single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, then chain 1 and turn. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we're going to work this strap until it is 12 inches long. As soon as you have your strap complete, as you can see, I've done them both right here. I've done this one to completion, to a point where I have already joined on both sides. Okay, so once you have it complete like this, the strip, it's just a strip to form a strap. We are going to join it on this other end. So you will grab your yarn, the end of your yarn right here, and then grab your darning needle. This is what we are going to use to join them together. And then you will count your stitches. We have 5, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is where we're going to start joining from, right? This is the method that I'm using. Go up there and then come to the lower stitch from the back like that, pull up, and then come from the front like this, and then insert your hook like that, and then pull up, and then at the bottom here, and then at the bottom again. And as you can see, this is our very last stitch. We have it secured like that, and we can remove our stitch marker and just work that last stitch to ensure that everything is right intact, and we are ready to weave in that. So this is what you should be having on both ends. So this is where we are. This is the back side of our work, and this is the front side. Okay, this you can notice that the only thing that's left to be done is to work the laces where our lace will go. Right here we work a row, and then we will do the sleeves and we'll be done completely. We can start with either, and I prefer to start working the straps first, the holes where the straps will go, and then now we'll work the very last part, which is the sleeve. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. That is where I have inserted my hook, and that is where I'm going to start working. So you will chain 2 and then work a double crochet in the next space, that is the next row. Okay, and then you will chain 1, and then you skip a reasonable amount of space and go into the next space right there in that row and work 4 double crochets, 2, 3 and 4, and then chain 2, skip these 2 parts, and then now we can start working on the double crochets on the top. Okay, so we'll be doing 4 double crochets, 3 and 4, and then we chain 2, skip 2, 1, 2, go into the next, go into the next and work 2, 3 and 4, and then we chain 2, skip 2, go into the next and work 4 double crochets in the next 4 stitches, 3 and 4, and then chain 2, go into the next 1, 2, skip 2, go into the next 4 and work 4 double crochets, 3 and 4, chain 2, skip 2, go into the next, since I have only 2 stitches left, I'm going to just chain 1 and then insert my hook in that very last stitch and work a double crochet like that. So this is what we have at this point, and I'm going to chain 1 and turn my work, and then I'm going to go back on it with single crochets. So in the chain 1, do a single crochet, and then do 1 single crochet on top of each and every of those 4 double crochets, and then where we have 2 chain space, you will work 2 double crochets in there, and then you're going to work a single crochet on top of the double crochets. Where we have the chain 2 space, you work 2 single crochets. You continue until you get to the top. When we get to the top here, we will work those two stitches so they get a single crochet each, and then chain 1 and cut your yarn because we are done at this point. So this part that we have worked on this end, you should also work it on the other end, because we said we are mirroring everything. What happens on this side should also happen on this other side. So connect your yarn on this side and work this. Now once you're done with this part, you're going to make this chain. I have doubled my strands and I made the chain long enough, and this is going to be enough for me to intertwine in here. And just in case you want to make as long as mine is 90 inches long. So you're going to insert one end here and the other end over here. So we have the part that we're going to work next is the sleeve, but also I need to mention that at this point this top is complete for those people who don't want to do the sleeves. But if you want to do the sleeves, this is how to go about it. You will identify the mid stitch on this end, because this mid stitch is going to be the side where everything will be originating. So you will identify that part, and then we are going to insert our yarn. So you're going to chain 1 and then start making single crochets. The single crochets are mainly for this part because we want this to be, we want to form the basis of our stitches, like the foundation of our stitches. Okay, so after chaining 1, you're going to go into the same stitch with a single crochet and place a single crochet on top of each and every stitch on this part until we get to the part where we're supposed to now start moving upwards. Okay, now once we get to this part, it's now safe to start going alongside the strap. Okay, so we want to turn our work and start moving upwards, and at this point we are going to be placing a single crochet in each and every row. So every row of single crochets is getting a single crochet. So this is how it should be looking like. And now I'm going to work these single crochets alongside the strap and then down here until I get to where I started from and make a slip. So now after slip stitching, we are now ready to start working the next part of the sleeve, okay? And this is going to be a row of double crochets. So you will chain 2, and then in that very first stitch we are going to place a double crochet, and then in the next we will do 1 double crochet. In the next we are going to do 2 double crochets, 1, 2. In the next we do 1. So we are alternating between 1 and 2 stitches. Once you have 2 stitches, you go into the next and work 1 stitch. You go into the next and do 2 stitches, and then go into the next and do 1, 2 stitches, and go into the next and do 1. Okay, so this is going to be the sequence in which we do this part. So you're going to work the 2 stitches, 1 stitch sequence until you cover this distance all around. Okay, I am coming towards the end of the row. I'm left with just 1 stitch, so I will yarn over and insert my hook in this very last stitch here and do my last double crochet. And then usually you know that we usually go into this stitch and then slip stitch to complete the row like that. Okay, but since I'm going to be working in rounds and I do not want that seam line, this is what we are going to do. This very first stitch, we will insert it in this inside of this stitch right here. All right, and then the rest of the stitches we are going to be working in the back loop of each and every stitch. Remember, as you've seen, my project has that line, so we want to form it, and this is how we do it. So we are just working double crochets in the very last, in the back loop only, and not in both loops. So we are just working 1 double crochet on top of each and every double crochet from the previous row. All right, as you can see, the line is already forming, and you might want to mark this very first stitch using your stitch marker, so that when you get here you actually know that that is where your stitches and your rows are starting from. So let me grab my stitch marker and mark this one. It's not a must, but this is just something I like to do in order to know, because in the end it is going to help us know where we will end our rows. Okay, so just continue placing 1 double crochet on top of each and every double crochet in the back loop. So that is that line. It's very beautiful, especially when you create more and more rows. So I'm going to work this row, and I will meet you once I get to this part, and then I show you how we are going to continue the rest of the rows. After working, I have a total of 21 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and the 21st. So you notice this is where we began our rows, and it's where we marked with our stitch marker, and it's just right there that I have stopped working this particular 21st row. So to complete it, I am going to reduce the height of stitches. So this is how we do it. You will yarn over and then make a half double crochet. Remember, we've been working with double crochets, okay? We're just reducing the height, okay? And then after you have a half double crochet, you do another half double crochet, and then you do a single crochet and a single crochet, and then you slip stitch here in both loops. Okay, you slip stitch like that. So this just means that we were just sort of working and ending to the row to just slow down like that. You can even add another slip stitch. So we are done with the rows where we've been working the the double crochets in the back loop only to form this beautiful design that will be on our sleeves. So the next part that we are going to do is, I already completed this other sleeve, and this is what we have. I even added this drawstring to cinch it up, but if you open the drawstring up, you will realize that I have reduced and then did a little bit of gathers to bring this beautiful design over here. So this is what we are going to do next. Now to do that, we are going to work a row of where we will be reducing the stitches in order to reduce. Do you see this part is quite wide? So we're going to reduce until we form some sort of gathers at this point. Okay, so we will chain one and then go into that very stitch that we chained from. You pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next, pull up a loop like that. You have 3 on your hook, and then you yarn over and pull through them all, and then you go into the next, you insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the next one, pull up a loop, and then you yarn over and then slip stitch, and yarn over and pull through them all, and then go into the next, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then go into the next, insert your hook, pull up a loop like that, and then you pull through them all. So we're doing this all around the piece. Now you need to put a stitch marker at this point to show you where we are starting our rows from. This is where we began. Okay, it's important. And then continue reducing. So I'm going to do this row until I get to where we have marked with the stitch marker. As you can see, I'm coming towards the end of that row, so I will insert my hook right here and pull through, and then insert my hook in the next stitch, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through them all, and then we will remove this stitch marker and slip stitch right there to complete the row. So this is what we have at this point. We have reduced it a little bit. Okay, and now we are ready to start the next row. This next row is where the drawstring will go through, so we're just going to yarn over and work double crochets in each and every stitch, not in the back loop, just grab both loops and make double crochets all around. So you're going to do this until you get to the end of the row, just pure double crochets. Okay, so you're going to work until you get to that last stitch, and then you will slip stitch on top of the first stitch that we did to complete the row. And now we are ready to do the next row, which is going to form the foundation of our gathers. That will be the last section of the sleeve. So you will yarn over and then insert your hook in that very first stitch, pull through, insert this hook right here and then pull through and make a single crochet. So we are making single crochets on this row to form the foundation for the next 2 rows. Okay, so continue making single crochets until you get to the end of the row, which is right here. You can even insert your stitch marker so you don't confuse. No, that is where we are starting from. Like that. So now as soon as you work the last stitch, you are going to slip stitch on top here where we had marked with a stitch marker. You slip stitch right there to complete the row, and now we are ready to do the next row. We are going to chain 3. Once you have your chain 3, we are ready to do the next stitch. Okay, we are going to yarn over twice and then insert our hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. You see you have 4 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. You yarn over twice, insert your hook in the very stitch, because we're doing 2 stitches in each stitch. You have 4 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that is just 1, and then we're going to do the same in the next stitch where we're doing 2 treble crochets in each stitch. You yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through. You have 4 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. Yarn over twice, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we are working 2 stitches in each stitch from the previous row. This will help form the gathers on the lower part of the sleeve. It's a beautiful stitch. They are elongated and easily visible. So you're going to work this all around until we get to this point. So when you get to this very last point, you're going to yarn over twice and place that last stitch in that very first, because we didn't do 2 here. And then you yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. At this point, at least even this first stitch has a stitch to marry it, and they are a pair just like the rest of them. And then you're going to slip stitch and you are done with that first row. Okay, so the next row we're going to do, this is the very last row. You're still going to chain 3 and then yarn over twice, and now we are going to be working in the back loop. So you will find that back loop over here, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through the remaining 2, and then you yarn over twice, go in the next back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2, and then you yarn over twice, insert your hook in the next back loop. Remember, we are doing just one stitch on top of each and every stitch, not two like the previous row. Okay, so you're yarning over twice, inserting your hook in that very last loop, so the back loop, then yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. So continue working this round, and once we are done with this row, we will be done with the entire project. So this is what you should be having. Upon completion on this part, you are going to slip stitch on that very first stitch, and then you are done with that row. You will cut your yarn. So you're going to make a chain of 50 inches or so. Mine is 50 inches, and then we're going to use this darning needle to insert it through this row that we said is going to be our drawstring row. Okay, and I'm starting on top of the project because I want us to tie our work here, so that by the end of the day it's visible and it adds a detail to the top. Okay, so we are going to be intertwining through, in and out. We are going to be intertwining, so in and out, like that, until you have the entire sleeve covered. Okay, so now at the end the sleeve should be like looking like this. This drawstring is just to regulate how tight or loose you want your sleeve to appear. Okay, so once you have this, now you can comfortably tie a bow like that, and you're done. We are actually done with the project, and this is how it looks like. So we started with this milestone stitch, and we have done the back. This is how the back looks like, and then we have now completed with the sleeves, and just like that you have your beautiful top that you can rock with your jeans or your favorite pair of pants or skirt. And I can't wait to see how you style this, and tag me in your posts on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And my name is Marion. Thank you so much for being here, for watching, for subscribing, and for liking this video. See you on the next one.